Good afternoon, South Africa, and a very, very warm welcome to you. My name is Jeannie G. This is Afternoon Express.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, South Africa. My name is Palisa Tembe, and I think the nation right now is gearing up for that lockdown.
I know, huge stress levels. So hopefully our energy is going to bring those stress levels right down. It is midway through the week, and while we all prepare for lockdown, Afternoon Express is here to keep you entertained for the next hour. Today we are getting a really important update on the COVID-19 situation, so stay tuned for all of the information that you will need.
Absolutely. We've also got some great recipes lined up in our kitchen that are perfect to make during this period of social distancing.
Of course. First up, though, Sama-nominated Afro soul artist Nomfusi joins us in the loft. Last year, she was here, and of course, she's had such a very busy year and a very busy year on the music scene since. She is currently working on her brand new album, and of course, you may remember her 2019 hit, Itlungu Yam, meaning my pain. The show. Welcome back.
I love that. If you've got any questions for Nomfusi, head over to our social media platforms. Just make sure to use the hashtag #AfternoonExpress so we can find all of your comments. Girl,
hey,
such a serious.
Yes, so this is home. Thank you for having me back.
Now, Nomfusi, you have done such incredible work. You've brought a new song to Afternoon Express. I mean, how does it feel like to celebrate such an incredible track with the family?
It feels amazing. It really feels amazing. You know what? I've went through a lot, you know, in the process of bringing this music. Actually, the track that you guys are about to listen to is part of an album that took me almost 4 years to make. So I'm quite excited to present.
Why did it take so long? What were you doing in that time?
You know what? I think I actually got to that point of asking, what was I doing? But I think there was a lot. You know, I was really entangled in, bad music business. I had a child, and, was going through a whole lot. Kids are not easy, like parents out there would know. So I was going through a whole lot, but I'm glad that I found my strength and I could go back and write. And today, I have what I have.
I think the business of music is so difficult because, and musicians aren't geared up for it. When you learn to be a painter, when you learn to be a dancer, when you learn to be a musician, nobody's teaching you how to do your taxes. Nobody's teaching you how to read your contracts, which is so important and it's so vital. But, obviously now we're going through the COVID crisis. How are you handling as a musician, where I'm sure all of your gigs have been cancelled, it's, performances, tours, all of that gets cancelled. So how do you survive as an artist?
I was actually making fun. I was like, you know what, I'm like a street vendor myself now, I'm making this song. It's probably on what is it, on Google Play. It's $6.99. Please buy it. You're like buying a pack of, good soul. Yes. So by we are there. It's crazy when everything gets cancelled, especially a musician like me that tours a lot, and just all my European shows are gone. And
let's just hope that all of your European gigs will get just postponed and moved out for later, so that you have a really,
but it's really not looking good. But I think I'm really an optimistic person. I'm really keeping the faith. I don't know why, but I really believe that this will be over soon.
Yes.
And when it's over, music will be the core center of it all, pushing people to celebration, pushing people to a beautiful ambience.
Yeah.
And even now, you know, I'm still positive that we can still create that, you know, give people hope through our music.
And I mean, Nomfusi, we saw you doing exactly that, where you juggled between a musician and an actress, when you, of course, played Miriam Makeba in Long Walk to Freedom.
And
that
what
is
a
very
great,
iconic.
and I mean, hands down to that performance. Unbelievable.
So how does it feel like to be immersed around international superstars, but also rising up and flying that South African flag high?
How does it feel? And as you say, I think at the center of it all, it's being proud of representing your country.
Yeah.
It's being proud of representing your community. You know, a lot of people know my story, that I'm coming from the township of South Africa, KwaZakele, and it's probably one of the poorest, you know. So if you rise into that standard, you know, you are definitely showing another person that you can do it, girl. Hey?
I love that. I love her energy.
Oh, you are just so
love
amazing. And can I tell you, just being around you is, you know, as infectious as the COVID. The joy that you're sharing with us today.
Have to keep going.
Exactly.
Have to.
What are your tips to staying positive while in lockdown?
Oh my word, I think actually I was talking to one of my friends this morning, and I think you also touched on it, you know, off air, that, you know, when you put yourself too much into it, I'm not saying don't get the information, and obviously the information that you get needs to be correct.
Yeah.
We start there. But I'm not saying don't get information, but if you put too much into it, it can consume you.
Yeah.
You can even start feeling the symptoms.
Yeah.
Like there was a point I felt
100%.
like, oh, I can't breathe, something is wrong with me. But so we need to take a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Whatever, I'm not gonna, obviously I'm a musician, so I'm gonna push that you listen to music or whatever, but whatever comforts you, your kids, cooking, whatever, reading, you know.
You are so
meditation.
fantastic. I want to give you the biggest hug right now. I wish that I could. But you know what? We are actually going to celebrate you by having a performance a little bit later. We cannot wait for that.
We're going to get down and
it's going to
boogie.
be a knockout.
Absolutely. Now Nomfusi will be here to perform her brand new single later on in the show. But right after the break, we're getting some important updates on COVID-19 statistics in South Africa. Plus, we're in the kitchen with a great vegetarian dish that is so easy to make at home. See you after the break. Africa. Keep celebrating goodness with us. Buy a Crush and follow the details on the pack for a chance to win cash prizes and school fees. Crush, share the goodness.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. I hope that you're having a fantastic afternoon. So we are only a few days from the nationwide lockdown as the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 continues to climb. We are joined now by medical expert Dr. G to get an update on the current stats and, of course, what we can do at home to start prepping for the lockdown. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jeannie.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, an unfortunate topic, but necessary.
Absolutely. And I think these conversations are really important to avoid panic. I think people need as much correct information as possible to avoid, you know, the chaos created by a lot of fake news. So let's take stats at the moment.
Yeah.
Where are we sitting currently in South Africa with the number of confirmed cases?
Sure. So at the moment, the current stats, as I read them about half an hour ago, is that we're officially sitting at 709 cases. And I think what's really important to appreciate is that the tally of the cases nationally often happen after we've gathered intelligence from the lab in private, public sector, but also these private testing facilities. So we really do our best, and by we, I mean collectively as a medical fraternity here, do our best to give the most current information, and that's where we're currently sitting. So that's a 28% increase from yesterday.
Yeah, that's not great. Now, I know it's sometimes a bit of a crooked yardstick, but
yeah.
How accurate are these stats? Do you think there's a lot more people that are positive with COVID and don't know about it? Or just maybe too scared to say anything?
I completely hear you. I think every single country, one of the best things about this is that you deploy the best resources possible. One, to make sure that the collection of data is as factually accurate as possible. But also from a clinical point of view, one of the things that's important for me to remind fellow South Africans is that we've got some of the best medical experts in the world.
You know that I've got friends that have come from overseas to have children here, to have surgeries here, because our medical industry is one of the best in the world.
So
hats off to our doctors. We love our doctors in South Africa. We do.
So on that note, I'm very confident that the stats being collected by the Department of Health as well as the National Institute of Communicable Diseases are up to trend, and they are really tracking it as it happens. Okay. And I think as the reports are happening, if there's any delay, I know our Minister of Health has already articulated that sometimes it's a 24-hour delay in updating the stats because they've got to make sure that they collect data from every single entry point that we are tracking in terms of the virus, especially active cases.
What is treatment looking like at this stage, especially for people who don't have medical aid?
I think the positive news that sometimes doesn't get trumped enough is the fact that more than 80% currently of active cases in South Africa belong in the mild disease category. Okay. So the immune system is, you know, if you've got a strong, healthy immune system, pretty much you can ride out the virus as you would a typical respiratory-like viral illness process. However, symptomatic relief is really the focus of the more serious cases. So because we also understand that part of the large syndrome that this virus triggers is respiratory related, so difficulty breathing, the fever, the cough, pain relief, you know, because it can also affect your muscles and joints, and it can cause things like headaches. There's a lot of symptomatic relief that's being provided. And of course, as you're well aware, research is being conducted on concepts like vaccine and definitive treatment. Sure. There are trials globally, and I know that the South African Medical Intelligence is also sitting on top of watching that. Yeah. But at this moment, I know for a fact, I mean, the Minister of Health has already iterated that there's no definitive cure for coronavirus 19.
Obviously, because they're just learning about this disease. It's new to everybody.
Yeah.
So as more people get it, the more the medical fraternity is obviously learning more about it. Apparently, there's now new symptoms. What are they? Okay,
so what's been interesting about how the virus is progressing is it's largely still a respiratory based illness. And the large group of coronaviruses, I mean, like I had mentioned in previous platforms, there's 7 other coronaviruses. I think the biggest thing that we're learning is obviously what complications can arise when someone is in severe distress. So we're also monitoring if those complications are definitive reason for us to start articulating that these are the new symptoms. In general, viruses per se wreak havoc on a body when they are left unattended. So the earlier, obviously, we detect, which is one of the reasons this campaign, even including lockdown, is so important, is we want to detect a lot of the cases when they're in their mild stages, is to avoid getting to a place where you're trying to reveal other complications. I'll stick to the main ones for now because I think even out of public interest, we need to just give people the basic criteria. But different individuals obviously will present with a unique presentation here and there, especially when we're looking at individuals who have an immune-compromised system. So we have to be careful and track that too.
I think it's really important to drive home the point that people do need to be staying at home.
Yes.
If you can just clarify for us, why is it so important to actually stay at home? Don't go running around the block for a jog. Go. Because what does flattening that curve look like? And if we don't, will we be in you know, a really, really sad state?
I think, you know, we're always careful, obviously, as clinicians, not to create an alarmist sense of an environment. But to just be frank, viruses are infectious agents, so they spread mostly through droplet spread and contact, which is why one of the main reasons staying home is such an effective policy is that we restrict the opportunity for people to mix in the same space. I know there's been a huge contention around even the distance, is 2 meters enough, you know, to just kind of eradicate those kind of concepts. I mean, it's still important to keep a safe distance between each other, but what's more important is that we're practicing safe hygiene inside the home. So I think one of the biggest things that we need to respect is that there's also other viruses coming around the season, influenza being a big one, and you just really want to practice measures that keep the entire family well, outside of looking at COVID-19 specific measures. However, the biggest reason the lockdown is important and staying at home is the most significant is that we really want to reduce the transmission rate and we want to contain further spread. So healthy people being together still have to practice hygiene, but at least if everyone is sitting at home, you're not risking yourself if someone has unfortunately been in the same environment as you a few minutes earlier, possibly having COVID-19.
I know. I get so upset when I see all these videos that's going online, when you see people dancing, partying, and really not taking it seriously. If they don't take it seriously, if they don't stop partying and go home, what will their reality be?
So we really worry about a community spread and a community risk in terms of transmission. Fortunately, there's been reports daily that it's been largely travel-based. So we're acting at the very appropriate time and we're making sure that we stop people associating with each other. Social distancing is such a difficult concept to someone who's used to freedom. As South Africans, we're used to our freedom. And I'm hearing a lot even that right now there's last-minute parties. People are literally going reckless, and I really want to discourage that. I think the spirit of what the leadership has already put in place is so important to understand. And if people are not understanding, they're putting their country at risk.
I know. This isn't a time to push the boundaries. We're not going to get in our last braai and our last party just before lockdown, because the virus isn't arriving at midnight on Thursday.
100%.
It's around us right now. So, yeah, let's just hope that everybody really does pull together and stays at home. And it's not for you, because perhaps you will survive this and you can be completely healthy, but there's a good chance that you could infect somebody else who maybe won't have the same chances as you. So hashtag stay at home.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Yeah. Woo, our hands are nice and clean now, ready for action. Huevos Rancheros is a Mexican egg dish typically served for breakfast. But as we continue to inspire you with recipes during this time of social distancing, we reckon that this makes for a pretty tasty vegetarian dinner with items that may already be in your kitchen and in your home. So definitely want to try and to do that. SMS the keyword Clover to 33650. SMSs are charged at R1.50 and free SMSs do not apply. Chef Dumi, what did you do?
Hola, hermosa. ¿Cómo estás?
Ay, ogahle, when it's Mzansi, lad. Sikhuluma isiZulu, asikhuluma isiFrench.
I had to take it there, man. If you're making a Mexican recipe, you might as well speak some Mexican, well, Spanish. But yeah.
Anyway, I mean, someone tell her that flights are grounded. We ain't going to Mexico. We are bringing Mexico to our kitchen.
Exactly. I'm taking our tummies to Mexico for a bit. So today we're making huevos rancheros, like you said. And to start it off, we've got here some beautiful ingredients. I've got my onions that are already sauteing in our pan over here, as well as some spices, cumin is a very popular spice in Mexican cooking. So, and I love cumin, so I always make sure that I try and put as much cumin as I can. Too much is a lot, but I mean, I can never get enough of it.
It's all about balance.
It's all about balance, yes. And then going in after that is our sugar, as well as some jalapenos and some roasted red peppers.
Ooh, nice.
So the base of this is basically it's a it's a red pepper sauce. And like you said, it's served a lot at breakfast, but you can, like we like to tweak it here.
We can jazz it
Give
up a
your
little
own
bit.
flavor, your own, add whatever you would like, but this is basically the recipe that I enjoy making as well.
This sounds stunning. And I mean, I just have to also guinea pig off of you learning a new language. I know we were just kidding here, greeting each other in a little Spanish, a little Mexican language, but it is so essential that during this lockdown, why don't you take up the challenge of learning a new language or learning a new skill? 21 days, it's proven that you can pick up a new habit and get rid of an old habit. So why don't we welcome in good habits, clean habits, healthy habits, and say goodbye to the bad habits? 21 days is the perfect time to do that.
Correct. I say, how's about you learn a new language in the next 21 days? Come on now.
I mean,
Come
Tumi's
out of
coming
that.
for me. Lalela mina ngumZulu. No, but I love the Spanish. I love all of it, and I love this recipe.
Yeah, I think let's come out of it ready to go to the rest of the world now. I mean, we're doing everything. We're staying home. By the time we're done with 21 days, let's go. Well, not 21 days. As soon as it's clear, let's go out and see each other, have fun.
And explore.
And explore.
Okay, so right now you're just blending up the ingredients that you've already made for the base.
So while I'm doing that, I'm going to ask you to continue with one of our other elements for our recipe today, which is the yogurt dressing that goes on top of our dish. While you do that, I'm going to get started with the rest of my recipe here, which is the beans.
Perfect.
It's part of the dish. It's basically the starchy part of it. So it's going to help us hold everything together.
Beautiful,
All right, so what's
beautiful.
going into your dressing right now is some plain yogurt, as well as some cumin and some lime juice. And then on my side over here, I've just put in some beans, as well as some cumin. Like I said, cumin is very important in our recipe, as well as some chilies. Red chilies that is chopped up, and some coriander powder, and a little bit of chili flakes. We like it spicy here in the kitchen, so we might as well make sure our dishes are also a bit spicy.
Also have that vitamin C coming in through with the chilies
Correct,
to just
yes.
boost our immune systems continuously.
Very important, yeah. And then to bind it all up, I'm just adding a bit of beef stock because, yes, our baked beans can be a bit thick, so I'm just loosening it up a bit for us.
Okay, I love that. I mean, what is a Mexican dish without your beans?
Of course.
And this is also like another challenge. I just feel like I'm throwing all these challenges at South Africa, but I know you can take it. I know you're strong enough. But a lot of us, when we do want a different taste, whether it's Indian food, Mexican food, Chinese food, we just order out, which wastes money and also wasting our resources. Why don't you just try whip up an international dish at home? I mean, why not have fun with it, right? Add some of your favorite South African flavors, and voila, you have a magnificent magic coming from the kitchen.
There we go. So you've done the rest of our dressing for us here, so we might as well start assembling our dish.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you just to pass me that waffle over there so we can start plating it. So we've done our ranchero sauce.
Beautiful crispy waffle there.
Perfect, yes. And then I'm going to get busy with our beans here. So this is the base of our dish here. So we've made our waffle. So normally, in celebration of Waffle Day, normally a ranchero, whoever's ranchero is done on top of a tortilla. But because we like to take it up a notch in our kitchen, we're celebrating waffles by putting it on top of a waffle instead of a tortilla.
I love that. I love playing with recipes. And we had waffles last week on the show. So this is a way to take the same mixture and just kind of add it in here in whatever dish you want.
All right, and then we go in with our ranchero sauce.
Beautiful.
Making it look pretty. And then we go in with our yogurt sauce.
Greens. Wait, before that, I just want to get a little bit of this. Maybe you can add the yogurt sauce whilst I add the avos. This looks really, really good. Really fresh as well.
Very nutritious, very delicious.
Everything that we need, basically.
All things good for you.
Remember to SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 to get this recipe sent to your device. This looks so, so good. But if you need to see how this is made one more time, here's a quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
After the break, we are joined by entrepreneur and motivational speaker Candice Lynn Christians, founder of the You Are Phenomenal movement.
Next time on Tropical Island of Treasure Curacao, in a race for points, teams are thrown into the deep end. Team Tropical and Team Mango Beach struggling.
I don't understand how.
Wow! Sims clearly exhausted.
What an epic fail.
Buzzy and Darren fighting for their lives right now.
I can see Vazzy is crushed.
I'm done.
Tropical Island of Treasure Curacao, Tuesday evenings at 7:30. Repeat Saturdays at 8 p.m. only on SABC3.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. So in times like these, we can all do with a bit of inspiration and motivation. Candice Lynn Christians is an entrepreneur, speaker, and body positivity advocate. And she is the founder of an all-inclusive movement called You Are Phenomenal. She joins us now along with Marlene Rousseau, who is an internationally recognized gender and human rights activist and the founder of the Women Lead movement. Welcome, ladies.
Fantastic to be here, Judy.
Oh, do you know what this does to me, to have such inspirational women on this couch? Because you are strong, you're beautiful, and you are driving home really important messages. So as inspirational as you both are, we're going through really, really trying times, and I can't help but think of, you know, gender-based violence is a huge issue across the world and in our country at the moment. And we are now going into situations of isolation. I was chatting to a woman earlier today who said she's going through a divorce and she has to spend these next 21 days with the man that she's going to get divorced with.
Not the easiest thing to do.
No, really, really difficult. And I think for a lot of abusive relationships, this could potentially be hell.
Yeah.
But to start off, you have created this amazing woman empowerment movement, but it comes from a place of pain.
Yes, definitely.
Tell us where you were in your life and why you needed to do this.
So
It kind of stems from a while back already. Rejection is something that I actually came to know from a young age already.
Yeah.
I grew up by my grandparents and I wasn't allowed to live by my mom. I could only see her on weekends.
Yeah.
And with that being the way it was, as I grew up, love wasn't really something that I was wishing to have in my life because I was afraid of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Afraid of being rejected.
That was already your narrative.
Yes, it was already my mind. I was afraid that I was going to be rejected. So in turn, I would have relationships for 3 months, not get feelings, and then break it off just in case that person wants to hurt me. I hurt that person before the time.
Yeah.
Eventually, I met a guy that
you
I thought
think is going to be a prince.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I thought, okay, fine, let's just give a relationship a chance. Let's not break up after 3 months when you feel like, okay, I'm going to start getting feelings now. So I thought I'd give this guy a chance. I dated him for 5 years and I caught him in bed with another girl. That was the hardest thing that could...
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it upon my enemy to have to go through something like that, because just that picture in your mind, whenever you close your eyes, you see that. It is something that no woman will ever be able to explain the amount of anguish and pain you go through. That put me in a depression.
Were there telltale signs leading up to that? Was there emotional abuse? Was there, kind of putting you down? Was he kind of lying and sneaking around?
He was lying. Definitely lying. He told my friends that we weren't going out anymore, but we were.
Wow.
And he was loaning money from me, and he was... behind my back, he was obviously doing things until someone told me that they heard that he was dating someone else. And I thought, okay, let me give him a call. I called him, he said to me, no, that's nonsense. Where do you come on this?
Oh, no. I mean, already he's just so toxic. And the least that, we don't want... At the moment, we're getting rid of all toxic.
Exactly.
Relationships, COVID, anything that is toxic is getting out of our lives.
And then the next day I called him. I said, God, please show me one thing that will rid me of this guy forever.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I called him.
Well, he did you a favor, my girl.
Absolutely.
So, I mean... You must see so much of this. As an advocate for gender-based violence, you must see toxic relationships so much. Do you think, I think a lot of people are making space on social media and on the streets, trying to create an awareness. Is it helping?
We have seen an increase in sort of mass protest over the last 2 years, which is fantastic, because gender-based violence was one of those crimes that is done in private, no one knew about it. So more people are coming out and sort of, going to the streets and speaking out against GBV, which is absolutely fantastic, because that is what we need. And they sent a message to the government and to the perpetrators with the hashtag enough is enough. And specifically to government saying, well, your laws and your policies are ineffective. It's not working. The criminal justice system is failing the woman. Yes. Just earlier I read a statistic, 131,000 cases was opened, 44,000 people were arrested, and only 9,000 was convicted. So, I mean, if that doesn't deter any abuse, a woman that's in abuse to go to the police station and open a case, then I don't know what else. Yeah. But at least there has been some positive movement. We've seen the development of the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide, which is absolutely amazing. And if it wasn't for these protests and these women coming out, these women movements and men, saying that enough is enough, we would not have had the plan. But the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. It's a 10-year plan. Yeah. Is the plan going to be effective?
Let's hope.
Absolutely, and there's two things that we really need to think about. Is there political will to implement the plan, or is this going to be one of those plans on the government desk that's going to gather, dust? And is there enough money to implement the plan?
Well, at the moment, there's enough money coming in, thank goodness. So South Africa's going to have money. This is what I'm putting into the universe.
Yes.
I read somewhere that with the COVID lockdown, 21 days, we might see a bit of a spike in gender-based violence, obviously in lockdown in the home. Do you think this is a possibility? Is this something that we should even be considering? It's a very, very scary topic.
But it is scary, and it's actually very disappointing that people would add more fuel to the fire. We've never been in a COVID-19 situation.
Well, what are women's rights, for example? Like, what if you are with somebody and you've got nowhere else to go now? What do you do in this situation?
There are shelters available, women's shelters, across
but how many women want to leave their homes and go to a shelter?
But exactly. If I can just mention on that as well, Yesterday I was chatting to someone about the fact that we know women that are being abused.
Yes.
These are not people that hide. I mean, 10% of them probably hide, but we know someone that is being abused. So we shouldn't use COVID-19 to sort of derelict in our moral obligation in checking up
Cups
on...
are still working. They're not on lockdown.
Absolutely. You can still call. You can still send a
Okay,
message,
but
don't
what
visit.
happens, because I've been in a situation before where I've called the cops because there was a woman who was busy being abused, and when the cops arrived, she said, nothing, everything's fine here. What happens in those cases?
You see, the problem is with many women, including myself.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
I came out of an abusive marriage as well. So for me, it was a matter of you thinking about, where am I going to go? Some women don't have a place to go.
Yeah.
They're thinking of their comfort zone. They're going to lose their comfort zone. They don't have a source of income. So where's the money going to come from? They're afraid to lose what they have. So they'll rather go through the beatings and the pain and the suffering just so that they can live in comfort.
Just because of time, what advice do you have for any woman who may be sitting at home, who's feeling a little bit of fear, thinking, I'm going to be locked in for 21 days with somebody who could potentially beat me? What advice do you have for that woman?
I would say that, I mean, still reporting the cases is going to be important. You know, the police is not on lockdown. They're not self-isolating somewhere, you know. It's an essential service. They're still there. In fact, they will be more vigilant in the streets. So it's not difficult, you know. I would still say and encourage women to speak out. I know that they don't want to because they're scared. And that is why I started my organisation, the Women Lead Movement, to empower women, to give them the self-confidence to really stand up for themselves and walk out of a situation.
You are so strong. It is so beautiful watching you. I just wanted to talk like this the whole time. Like, you are amazing. Thank you. I really, both of you, I wish I could hug you now. Like, oh, it's
Virtual
there. Take the energy I'm giving your way. Amen in the Church of Genie. After the break, we will be back in the kitchen with another great recipe that you can make at home with the family during lockdown. Thank you, you beautiful, strong, amazing woman.
Thank you.
Find your smooth fortune with Tropica. Buy a Tropica, follow the entry details on the pack, and stand a chance to win your share of 1 million rand in prizes, such as a trip for two with KLM to Amsterdam, LG G8X cell phones, LG TVs and dishwashers, guest vouchers, guest watches and accessories, plus the smooth grand prize of a Suzuki Ignis. The more Tropica you buy, the more chances you have to win. Tropica. Nothing smoother.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Jimmy, you know what? You're actually the cleanest person that I know, so I think I'm quite happy to go into lockdown with you. As you may have more time on your hands, you actually might be missing the days of social gathering and, of course, pizza night. Oh, I'm going to miss a pizza night. Well, we'll say that you can still enjoy pizza night in, because Chef Chumi is definitely going to make sure of it. She's showing us her cheesy pizza roll recipe, so you might want to roll up your sleeves for this one. To get this recipe, SMS the keyword pizza to 33650. The SMSs are charged at R1.50 each, and free SMSs do not apply. Trust me, get texting for this recipe because, wow, this looks good.
Yes, girl. And so I'm going to get into it right now. Pizza is one of my favorite things to have.
Me too.
And I know that right now with the way things are, people do crave pizza. So I'm making it easy for you.
Well, pizza, like especially that kind of pizza, is quite hearty, hey?
Yes, it is.
So I always feel when you eat something hearty that it is actually going to do good for your immune system.
Correct.
I mean, even if it's just mentally, even if the pizza's working as a placebo
it's
in
good
your
for
brain,
your heart, it's
just
good
giving
for
you so much positivity.
You're correct.
Actually, isn't it true that when you do eat something that you enjoy, like chocolate, and I think probably pizza,
Yes.
it actually does release like a little happiness
endorphins.
chemical in your brain.
You become
the
a
same as
happy
falling in
person.
love.
Correct.
Yeah.
You are right. You are 100%
Then you see why I'm
correct.
single and love food.
To prove that you love food, I'm going to ask you to get started with our mince over there.
Oh,
Get
okay.
it frying. So you can put some butter in there for us. The one thing I love about butter as well is when people are out there buying, make sure you get it in your pantry as well because it has a 180-day shelf life. So you get that, you're sorted.
180 days?
I promise you.
Sure, but people should have been stockpiling on this while you stock
Don't
shopping.
promote such. No one's stockpiling anything.
Nobody should be stockpiling at all. Okay, so butter, I'm going to put quite a bit in to make it juicy, no?
No, that's cool. We don't want it too juicy because then we don't want the oils releasing while we're baking this in the oven. So you can get quickly stirring with that, and then I'm going to add the rest of the toppings.
I could have put more, though.
If you'd like to, yeah. So what we normally do, like people have different toppings, different flavors, so you can actually add whatever flavors you like. People like it meaty, some people like it veggie, some people like it spicy.
I love a jalapeno, I must be honest.
People like it with olives.
Olives? I can't, you don't have olives here.
Oh, heck no. Not today, girl.
Seriously, I really need to adjust your palate. Chumi doesn't eat olives. It's been a debate on this show before.
Why should I do that to myself?
Weirds me out.
I'm salty enough.
That is true. You are spicy AF.
All right, so once you're done with the mince there, I'm just going to top it up before I add our mozzarella. And then I'm going to roll it up.
It's actually almost popping, like popcorn. I think I put the heat up too much.
Well done. You've done a pretty decent job.
I mean, okay.
Thank you very much. Let me just take that from you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. So I'm just gonna... Sorry.
No, I touched you, not the pan.
I am hot. Thank you, girl. You've proven it. So I'm just adding on the mince. Then I'm gonna quickly roll this up for us. And then... Once I've rolled it up here, so like I mentioned, people like different toppings. Like some people like cooked fruit, like putting pineapple on a pizza.
So you're putting 2 different kinds of cheese on there?
2 different kinds of cheese, 2 different kinds of meat. I mean, we're going like 21 days, 2. One.
Yeah, I like
That's what we're doing over here.
This is so spicy and absolutely delicious. And then extra mozzarella, obviously.
You know.
You can't have too much of
Your
mozzarella
pizza is not
on any kind of
complete
pizza.
without cheese.
Then how do you roll this baby up?
Let me show you how it's done, girl. So obviously I'm going to leave some cheese on the top because once we've rolled it up, we're just going to top it off with a bit more cheese.
Oh, this is delicious. Trust me, you're definitely going to want this pizza night during lockdown. SMS the keyword pizza to 33650 to get this recipe sent directly to your phone. And of course, you can SMS whenever during lockdown, and we'll be sure to keep those recipes coming your way. Okay, roll and then cut.
You nip it in the end, and then you just cut these beautiful little...
Hey, presto, it's looking fantastic. Thank you so much, Chumi. It looks beautiful.
You're welcome.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
From pleasure in the kitchen to pain in your bodies. Now, if you are one of the millions that treats pain by self-medicating, then you're no stranger to the over-counter medicine. Be it headaches, migraines, body pains, and aches. Oh, tell me, we all go through it. And times such as now, I am sure that all of us are feeling a magnitude of all types of pain. So today, we'll be chatting to Jackie Mayman, head of the Independent Community Pharmacy Association, on what the most common types of pain are and what are the best ways to treat ourselves in these difficult times. Jackie, girl, as we speak, I do have a headache. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even making this up because there seems to be quite a lot of heaviness and weight in the country right now. But speaking about pain, what causes pain, first of all? And is there like a pain severity threshold, like 1 to 10?
Yes, sure. So your headache, and I think a lot of people have got headaches at the moment because of the situation we're in. We're all a little bit stressed at the moment. But yes, so pain is your body telling you that something's wrong. So if I walk here and I stub my toe, it's going to be sore. If I have got, I've eaten something that's not so lekker, then I'm going to get stomach cramps. So there's all sorts of different pain. If I've got an infection in my tooth, I'm going to have toothache.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different types of pain. Pain is also very individual. So say, for instance, you're already ill and something hurts you, it's going to hurt more than normal. So it depends on your nutritional status, your state of mind. I mean, at the moment, I think we're all stressed and we're feeling pain a lot more.
Wow, I didn't know that your state of mind influences the amount of pain you feel. Wow.
So like, if you are in a state of depression, very often you'll have backache. You just become more aware of pain. Talking about the scale, there are lots of different things for measuring pain. Which, as I've already said to you, could be very subjective. But generally, it's from 1 to 10, and it depends on you. You know, what might be an 8 for me might be a 2 for you, and it depends on the circumstance.
Absolutely, Jackie. For me, I just think that it's so difficult when people say, how sore is it? This is different. So when do we know when to see a pharmacist and then take the next step into seeing a doctor? Because I know, I like to think my pain threshold is quite high, so I will rock it out and I'll be by myself, just in agony, basically.
Absolutely. Now, I think as well, if I can take this opportunity here, because we've been talking earlier on the show about COVID-19. And so we're going to be self-isolating. And the one thing I want to say to you is that pharmacies, we've all made a commitment. It's been a joint statement where we will be keeping our doors open. We're considered an essential service. So your pharmacist is there. You can phone in. You'll be able to call in. It's one of the essential services that you can still go to during lockdown. But what I would like to take this opportunity to say to you is to remember that pharmacists, we're also people. We're also worried. We've also got family at home. So I'm going to say to the public out there and to everyone, firstly, be kind to each other. Be considerate. This is going to be a difficult time. I think the world is almost pausing and taking stock. But when you do go into a pharmacy, as I say, there's a golden rule. If you have got cold or flu symptoms, if you have been in contact with COVID-19, somebody with COVID-19, or if you think you've got COVID-19, please don't come into the pharmacy. We are there to serve everybody. And the last thing we need is somebody ill coming into the pharmacy. So I want to say to them, if you are feeling ill or you think you've got it, don't go into the pharmacy, rather phone in and we can assist you that way. Okay. Now, to get back to the different types.
Guys, phone in, do not go to the pharmacy. Yes. Okay, yes.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you for that. Because we want to remain well to be able to look after you. Because if I am exposed, I'll have to shut my pharmacy and I won't be there
and less people to help,
Absolutely. So, talking about pain again, there are many different types of pain, all right? And I think, you know, if I've stubbed my toe, I know exactly what I've done. If after 5 days it's still paining, maybe I've broken it and maybe I should be going and asking my pharmacist. So I think with pain, anything that lasts for any duration of time or pain that you don't know the origin of, please go and ask your pharmacist. You know, there is such a danger of under-medicating, which can lead to chronic pain. And then there's also a danger of over-medicating. And if we over-medicate, we can damage internal organs, such as your kidneys or your liver, neither of which we can really replace in a hurry. Or you can end up with an addiction. So speak to your pharmacist. There's also different pains. You know, a painkiller for a headache is not the painkiller you'll use for a stomachache.
That's
or
very
period
key
pain.
because a lot of people just take one painkiller and they just make it for everything and just hope to fix all. So definitely make sure that you isolate the pain, see what region of the body it's coming from, and attack that. But also, don't just go running to a pharmacy. They're busy, trust me. So make sure a few days do go by in your isolation. And if it becomes unbearable, definitely go out and seek that help, seek that attention. Thank you so much, Jackie. You have ticked all the boxes. Now I know how to deal with this headache. I really appreciate it. Now, these are very trying times that we are calling on the greatest army on earth, which is our healthcare professionals, to come in and defend and rescue. Today, keep in mind that these brave individuals are putting their own lives at risk for all of us, and acknowledge them for their courage and their exceptional service. Adcock Ingram OTC have created a platform to do exactly this with sponsors of Brave. Nominate your pharmacist or healthcare professional now. Go to news24.com or partners.24.com/sponsors of Brave.
Looking for immune support? Remain at your peak all year round with Immuenza. To you, Crush has donated 20,000 pairs of school shoes to children in need across South Africa. Keep celebrating goodness with us. Buy a Crush and follow the details on the pack for a chance to win cash prizes and school fees. Crush, share the goodness.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, with thanks to your help, the 2020 Crush Goodness crew has donated 20,000 pairs of school shoes to children in need across South Africa. So keep celebrating goodness with us. Remember that there's only 1 week left to enter the competition. Simply follow the details on the pack to win your share of cash prizes and one of 5 school fees valued up to 50,000 Rand each. Crush, share the goodness.
Thanks to you, Crush has donated 20,000 pairs of school shoes to children in need across South Africa. Keep celebrating goodness with us. Buy a Crush and follow the details on the pack for a chance to win cash prizes and school fees. Crush, share the goodness.
From soulful shoes to soulful singing, we've got Nomfusi here to deliver a powerful single from her upcoming album, and this is Nongenene. Ungenene. Take it away, girl.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know I would ever love like this. Bengingazi uthando lungaka luyaphila. Once in a lifetime kind of love. And once in a while kind of feeling. Ngenene, ngenene, yakuthanda. Ngenene, ngenene, yazifela ngawe, babe. Inhliziyo yami iyajabula at the mention of your name. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know I would ever love like this. Bengingazi uthando lungaka luyaphila. Once in a lifetime kind of love. And once in a while kind of feeling. Ngenene, ngenene, yakuthanda. Ngenene, ngenene.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.